Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another Toonkind at 12 FPS. My name is Mira, and I will be playing a man that has been off screen since July. Uh, yeah, I'll be playing Simon Sinclair today. And with me is the very wonderful
Avi! Hi. My name's Avi Aviator. I go by Avi, sometimes Avocado. Uh, I will be playing your local real kind Phantom Thief, Trickster of the Spirit Rogues. Has it really been since July?
Yeah, it's been since July that Simon
Jeez.
Says happened. It's been several months.
Time's a concept. Anyway.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that long. But anyways, this it will contain spoilers for Simon Says, but it honestly it will be pretty apparent what's going on. I should hope.
Mhm.
But yeah, if you want full context, watch Simon Says. The Angst rating this and alongside those games are pretty angsty. So, you have been warned. Please self-care.
Here we go.
Yep. Trickster, you've gotten word that the trial of Simon Sinclair is going to be set for the 12th of this month. But it's not entirely a shut and closed case. The prosecutors have had a really hard time nailing some of the really big important things to Sinclair, despite the fact that you and the others had basically caught him red-handed.
Mhm.
Because the defense has done a very amazing job at, well, doing their jobs and putting a lot of reasonable doubts in the minds of the judge and the jury. Um, so, you've decided to do something about that, haven't you?
Yes, actually. Um, Trickster comes from a country where it is common knowledge that if you manage to get someone to confess to their crimes, it is essentially a surefire way for them to get imprisoned. Because what's better evidence than someone straight up saying that they did it. Um, but it's not just that. Trickster is a man of justice, or at least he likes to think himself as one. Uh, and the fact that Sinclair has done all that he's done to not just people Arata cares about, but to innocent lives. He can't stand by idly and just let this man walk.
Mm-hmm. Uh, just real quick, how are you planning on getting to Sinclair? Because Sinclair is currently still in jail. He was put in there without bail had been refused just because the climate of Toontown in regards to real kind doing really awful things. The judge ruled that it would be better if Sinclair remained in custody up until the point when the trial could actually be determined. So he is currently very well guarded. How are you intending to get in?
I'm going to be honest. He did not think this far ahead. I'm pretty sure his initial thought was to just sneak inside and maybe hope that Genie in cat form can cause a long enough distraction for him to interrogate um, Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because he's a spirit rogue. They're known for getting into places they really shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that plan could potentially work if you really wanted to try and do that, Trickster.
Yeah. So do I just roll something? I guess.
Yeah, just roll performance for Genie and then roll stealth for Arata.
All right. Let me. Oh, I forgot to open Genie's. Where is it? Because he is in cat form, he has the stat block instead of the
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Though if the stat block doesn't have a stealth modifier at all, feel free to use his cognitive sheet instead.
Well, you asked for performance, so
Yeah,
that's just a charisma.
true.
Oh, okay. Well, buddy, that's an 8 from performance from Genie.
Okay.
We're off to a great start.
We're off to a great start. We're off to a great start. Well, let's see if Arata being sneaky will be enough. Because currently there is a very loud yowling cat out front.
Oh, holy shit. He rolled really high, and he has expertise in stealth.
Brilliant. We love to see it. For the listeners, that is a dirty 28. 19 plus 9. We love to see it. So, yeah, I would say, like, even though Genie is not really selling the distressed cat meowing whale very well with an 8, he manages to at least draw the attention away from the doors just enough that you're able to just slip into the shadows and you're inside.
I am inside.
Yep.
Cool. I do want to clarify, he's not trying to get into the cell, he just wants to find Sinclair. Right. Shoot. Yeah.
Yeah, he is inside the building itself. He is, like, that's what I was basically trying to see if Trickster was able to get in without the guards knowing, because otherwise he would have to talk really fast on why a real kind is trying to sneak into an establishment where there are currently several real kind villains held.
Yeah. This sure is something. I imagine that, like, all these other, like, real kind individuals are probably, like, they probably might have caught a glimpse of a young real kind.
Mm-hmm.
In a mask, maybe, but, like, again, modified 28. Jesus.
Yeah, no, modified 28. Like, you're like a shadow. You meld into the darkness and the dim lighting of the interior, and no one really sees you. That was a 28, my dude.
Yeah. Is there anybody, like, in front of Sinclair's cell?
No, there had been a few guards kind of like in the block and stuff, but like they're not actually stationed right outside. Like, they're just kind of patrolling around, and with that 28, you easily manage to slip by them. I'm not gonna make you re-roll to get to Sinclair, because we'd be here all night.
Yeah, no, fair.
It just, with that 28, you manage to find Sinclair, you manage to be able to find him relatively easily. And you actually do pass a familiar person's cell, the changeling that had been involved in some prior incidents that you had interviewed with Detective Lynn and the others. She's just kind of vibing in her cell. She looks a little bit better, but like she's still got that kind of weird, glitchy, half Toon, half her own face kind of wonkiness going on.
Yeah.
Disguise matrix broken.
Oh boy, yeah, no, Trickster's not gonna linger too much on that, cause yikes.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want to stare, cause that's rude.
Mm-hmm.
But he does, when he manages to spot, Sinclair, he does get close to the bars, and, he's gonna stand there for a bit to see how long it'll take Sinclair to notice him.
Uh-huh. Okay, let me just... His passive is a 13, so I'm gonna have to roll perception for this man. Okay, 1 second. Let me just do. Okay, that is a +3. Yeah, that is 13 plus 3, 16. With the 28, like, it takes Sinclair a while, but he does eventually notice you, and what you see is a man, a real kind man with long, kind of gray-black hair. He no longer really has it neatly tied in a ponytail or anything, kind of looks slightly mussed up from, not being really able to care for it. Like, he can still brush it and stuff. Like, the police the police in Toontown aren't, like, savages. But, like, it's
Alright.
very much that, like, he just, he's not as polished as when you first saw him on that cart that day. And he is also, funnily enough, wearing Toon clothing, because this is a Toon prison establishment.
You know what? That makes sense. I think, regardless of how trousled this man looks, Trickster, like, stares back at him for a moment, and, like, when he's certain that, like, Sinclair has noticed him, he just goes, "Wow. You look like shit."
Thank you for your honest opinion. Sinclair kind of just raises an eyebrow at you, Trickster, because it's very obvious that you are a real kind in prison, but you're not in cuffs like he is. And it's interesting, the cuffs that he's wearing aren't actually chained together at all. They're just kind of around his wrists. If you want, you can roll Arcana.
Alright, here we go! Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, okay.
14.
I'm gonna give it to you just because, with your background, you might have been able to... You might recognize these, actually. They're magic suppression cuffs.
Ah, I see.
So Sinclair can't lash out at anybody or, charm them into releasing him,
Yeah.
But yeah, like, he's just kind of looking at you, kind of not really showing any surprise or anything like that. He doesn't really recognize you, which is a good thing. Um, so he just kind of is like, why are you here? In the raised eyebrow that he looks at you and just, you know.
I try to figure out how he would word what I want him to say. So I'm like, give me like a couple like seconds so I can figure this out. You know, a little bird told me that you went and got yourself caught up in a whole shindig with the toon trade.
Well, that is my area of expertise, but why are you here? Because I'm not getting the sense that you're here for just an idle chat.
Well, why not? I mean, we're just standing here well, you're sitting. We're just talking to each other. Might as well get comfy. You probably haven't had any friends to talk to. Probably don't have friends, period.
In my area of business, I don't need friends.
Oh, that's a lonely night. That's a lonely life, man. A sad bastard you are, huh?
And yet, what are you doing here, talking to a lonely old man like me?
He pauses, and he does this thing where he's not, like, uninterested, but, like, he's still, like, keeping his gaze. It's, like, met with Sinclair's, and he kind of, like... It's a very small sway from, like, one foot to the other. And he goes... Why tunes?
Oh, there's a lot that he wants to say, but I've got to filter it because... I hold up this bastard, and I want to shake him, just because I'm like... Oh, there's so much you could say. What the heck are you wanting me to say right now?
Let me add something, and let's see if it will help you in any shape. I mean, this whole place is full of them, but they're all, you know, people, and like, yet here you are, walking on in like you own the place. Like you're the goddamn king of this fucking castle.
Oh, you're one of those. You think that they have feelings.
Of course they fucking do.
They're just ink and magic. That's all they are.
Yeah, and people and real kind are flesh and bone and blood. You're not that fucking special.
I know I'm not. Neither are you.
Yeah. Well, I got something better than you do.
Oh, is it the power of friendship?
No, it's fucking common sense, you asshole.
That's out of character. That's an out of character laugh because I'm sorry. Just oh, I love you, Trickster, so much. Ah! Calling him out on his bullshit. Yeah. Okay.
If I'm going to target somebody, at least I have the decency to treat them like any other fucking living person.
All anyone is a tiny slab of something to be auctioned off of. You and I, we're not very... Hell, I could be the next on the auctioning block. I just got there first.
Oh. So that's the way you see it, huh? There's a smirk on his face.
He kind of just raises an eyebrow at you.
You know what's funny? You know, some of those police reports. You said you had fun little, like, office in some nowhere warehouse. What's the deal with that?
Well, it's not very lucrative to have something that's high-end when you're working on site.
I mean, I get that. If you're too ostentatious, people are gonna look.
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you what, people are gonna look at you pretty soon and they're gonna feel bad for you.
They can feel whatever they want. I'm pretty sure they're gonna look and I'll be walking by. Because here's something really funny. Money talks, kid. I've got friends in very, very high places. Or at least connections, because yeah, I am such a lonely bastard.
Makes me wonder what they're gonna do when their supply chain's gonna squeak.
Oh, it's not me who's gonna be the one squeaking.
Are you willing to put money on that?
You really don't know anything, do you, kid?
I know a couple of fucking things, thank you very much. I know that you're an asshole who has taken innocent people off the fucking street and have used them for your own fucking gain. For the gain of other assholes in power. For the gain of nothing other than a power trip. You are not special, Simon Sinclair. You are just another sad, lonely bastard trying to get whatever the hell he wants. And newsflash, I have met many people like you. And they have ended up begging for forgiveness. You're not special.
So which one of those bags of inks was yours?
Oh, you think this is personal? Oh, no. Oh, buddy. I'm answering for every single one of them. I'm answering for the ones who didn't have a voice. I'm answering for the entirety of Inkwell. Because nobody else fucking will. Because nobody else is going to look this way. Because nobody else wants to look this way. But they will. And they're going to see you groveling at their feet.
I don't grovel, kid. Whatever nifty little plans you have, they're not gonna work.
You know, for a lonely old man, you'd sure tell funny jokes.
For a little brat like you have some really interesting ideas.
So what about that warehouse, huh? Is that your little auction place?
I had many auction houses, kid. You're gonna have to be more specific.
Really?
You think an organization like mine would just be an Inkwell? Really? But to further your little metaphor, I suppose it could be considered an auction house. But let's just call a hair a hair. It was a warehouse, kid. Nothing else to it.
Oh. Thanks for your time, I guess. And he gives a mischievous grin that is just as playful as it is mocking, and he turns to leave, but at the last second he turns around and he goes, "Oh, one last thing." He raises a hand and flips him the bird.
There is a very offended splutter, and I want you to roll stealth for me.
Yeah! Okay, modified 25.
Modified 25, yeah, no, you just... Boop, you're gone.
Oh, I said I was gonna do it, and I'm so glad I did.
Yep. We have 28. We have basically. We're 28 minutes in, and. Wow.
Out of character, I would like to apologize for Trickster just going off like twice.
Oh no, that was fantastic. I was living. Sinclair was like, "Oh, this is personal."
Oh god.
Trickster might deny it, but no, Sinclair knows that you have some personal stake in this. Otherwise, you wouldn't care.
I mean, yeah, there is a personal stake, but also he does mean it when he's doing this also for
everyone else.
The people who can't. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, it was more of like, if it wasn't a tune that Sinclair himself personally did, it was someone that had a similarity and stuff. Like, that's how Sinclair was just like, oh, I've hit a nerve.
Okay, we are still a little bit early in.
Yeah, do you want to do kind of Trickster catching up Prism on everything?
Uh, yes.
Because we could do kind of that and actually kind of maybe try and explain things, because Prism has no idea what his brother's planning right now.
Oh, absolutely. And this is probably going to be a decently long conversation. And I will say, on his way back, probably to the last one in, because he has to get changed.
Mm-hmm.
um, Arata, Trickster is conversing with Genie, talking about the stuff that he's gotten out of Sinclair.
Mm-hmm.
And he's pretty certain that they already have 2 out of 3 keywords,
Mm-hmm.
but that third one is shaky at best. And the 2 that he is certain of is Simon Sinclair's name and the distortion, which is an auction house. The third one, he's going to guess that it's the warehouse,
Mm-hmm.
but it's shaky at best.
Mm-hmm.
um, so yeah.
Yeah.
After a little bit, he is going to get changed, and not Trickster, but Arata is going to head over to a house of paint.
Mm-hmm. And it's definitely dark now. You basically were in the middle of the night, I presume.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's middle of the night still. Pretty late, all things considered, but you also know your brother and know that he sometimes hyper-focuses and does not sleep through the night, so you're pretty sure he might still be awake.
Yeah.
And the House of Paint is currently activated. There is a clear door where a painting usually is hung when it's not in activated mode. So you're able to knock pretty easily, and a sleepy rainbow-haired Toon opens the door. Head slightly messy, but he kind of just blink, blink, blink. Arata? What are you doing over here so late? Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's fine. Just had a bit of a long night, and I guess you're still up, so I figured I might, drop by, talk to you about something.
Yeah, I couldn't really sleep considering the trials tomorrow.
Yeah.
Come in.
Can I get?
I'll make some tea.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna roll to see how well Sammy makes tea. Oof. That was a 4 plus 5. That's some very bitter tea you're smelling as little animated puffs of not steam but smoke start to kind of rise up from the 2 cups that Sammy had just barely poured boiling water on. And you just kind of look and see Sammy kind of staring blankly at the 2 cups.
Sammy, are you sure you're awake enough to do this?
But yeah, no, I'm fine. If you want, you can roll insight.
Oof. Oof.
With a 9, you can tell that Sammy has slept, but
Probably not enough.
not enough. and he's definitely off kilter by something. You're not entirely sure, but you have a nagging suspicion that it's concerning the same kind of topic that you're kind of wanting to bring up with Sammy.
Mhm. Uh, Either way, Arata is going to at least try to help Sammy get like better tea. Because like, oof.
Yep. Just gonna roll with advantage since Arata's helping. Okay, that's 11 plus. Okay, that's 16. Great, thanks. Thanks for your help, Arata. With your help, you managed to actually make proper Ghiblian tea that looks and smells really nice right about now. Really soothing, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And Sammy kind of takes his cup and sits at the couch and kind of tilts his head to see if Arata's gonna follow. Because
Yeah.
he needs comfy right now.
Yeah. Arata's going to. He does take his cup and he sits down and he sets his bag down on the ground by his feet so that Genie can get out and like walk around, stretch a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But he does like take a sip from his tea, and after a moment, he goes, "All right, so I need to tell you something, and it's going to be heavy. Are you okay? Are you okay with that?"
Yeah, that's. What's up?
There's a moment as he tries to figure out how to word this, and then he says, "What I'm about to tell you is a secret. You can't tell anybody else. And in fact, there is a little bit of concern in my mind that if I tell you, you might also, you know, get in danger."
Arata,
So
I've already been in so much danger. Holding your secret's not gonna change that. I
I
promise.
need you.
And Sammy actually holds out his pinky finger.
Before Arata takes it, you see him stare at the pinky finger. We already know that there is so much about pinky fingers, pinky swears.
Yep.
And, before he takes it, Arata takes a very deep breath. And he says, "Sammy, I need you to understand. By me telling you this, it's. Well, I might be a little bit overdramatic when I say it like this, but it's kind of like I'm putting my life in your hands."
And Sammy looks at Arata, and there is open. He's feeling a lot of things right now. He. he.
I'm not going to put you in a promise if that's not something you're comfortable with.
Arata. I. I would... He kind of pauses and closes his eyes and then takes a deep breath. And he opens them, and Arata, you see Sammy's shading go kind of from a light, kind of just static lilac, very light lilac, to an orange so deep it looks like it's right off of a sunset. As he stares at you and says, I would do anything to make sure you're okay, Arata. Anything.
And you know I would do the same for you, right?
Yeah. I know. And it... Arata, if... He just kind of makes kind of a cupping motion with his hands as if he were holding something, and says, I have already... You've basically seen me at my worst several times. You've helped me through so much. If I could do just even a fraction of what you've done to help me with, I would do it in a heartbeat. So
That means a lot, Sammy.
when I'm holding out my pinky, by me offering this pinky promise to not tell anyone about this secret, Arata. This is me stepping in with my eyes open. Because I love you. You're my brother, Arata.
And Arata, he was about to say something, and then you straight up said that you loved him, and he's just like, oh, okay. I'm getting emotional now. So, he doesn't say anything when he smiles back at you, and he holds out his pinky towards you. And he's going to make that promise.
And they shake on it.
They shake on it. As soon as Sammy's pinky is, like, in his, though, Arata is going to pull Sammy into a very tight hug.
And Sammy's gonna hug right back because... Oh!
Whew! Oh boy!
44 minutes in and the emotions are running! Woo!
Yeah. When they separate from the hug, though, at this point, Genie has already, like, stretched a little bit, so now he's probably sitting on the back of the couch beside Arata.
Mm-hmm.
But, well, here comes the secret that, Arata is going to tell Sammy. He is going to reach into his bag, and, he pulls out a mask. And it's he shows it to you, Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a white mask. There's a specific term for it, and I think it might be like domino mask, but I need to double check that.
Mm-hmm.
um, but it's white. But there is a ring of black around the eyes, and like it looks like mascara markings, eyelash markings,
Mm-hmm.
and he shows it to you, and he says, "My name's Arata Satomi, and I am also Trickster, the leader of the Spirit Rogues."
Should Sammy roll history real quick?
Yes.
That was a straight 16. Okay.
Straight 16?
Yep.
That makes sense. I was gonna say, does Sammy read the newspapers?
Yeah, he does, considering some of his past stuff. Yeah.
Alright.
He does read the newspaper.
Alright. In that case, yes. You definitely know, you definitely have heard of Trickster of the Spirit Rogues. And you know that, they started out in Yedo, but lately there have been quite a few cases, really, really small cases, in Einquell, namely in Toontown, and maybe like a little bit of like around Toontown's like outside border.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, with a 16, you do recall a conversation you once had with Arata about how he said he was a fan of the Spirit Rogues.
Sammy remembers that, and then he just kind of like he blink, 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 snort. I can't believe that you said that you were a fan of your own group.
And there's a moment where Rada's just like, "Why are you laughing? This is supposed to be serious." And then he realized, like, "Oh, wait." And he also laughs, and he goes, "Well, yeah, they're my friends. Of course I'm gonna be their fan."
And Sammy's shading goes from a very vibrant orange to golden, airbrushed with rose, as he stares at Arata. And he just kind of smiles softly at that.
And Arata takes a deep breath, and he sighs, and then he just goes, "Yeah." He points to himself. Arata, codename Trickster, and he points to Genevieve, and he goes, "Genevieve, codename Genie."
Sammy's shading immediately goes gray. As he tilts his head and goes, "Wait." And he just kind of like, there's like a dot, dot, dot over his head as he kind of looks at Genie and goes, "Magic cat?"
What? Did you think this guy could do that all on his own?
Well, I mean, he was saying that he did have friends and that he was fans of them, Genie. And also, Frank and Ellie too. I talk with animals on practically a regular basis, because there's a little squeak, squeak, squeak coming from Sammy's HUD as Squeakers kind of pokes his head out for a moment to kind of say, "Yeah, I'm still here. I'm usually off screen, but hi." And then just kind of ducks back into go continue having a nap in Sammy's hood.
And Arata kind of laughs. Not on Genie's head, but like on his neck, like right behind the ears.
Mm-hmm.
Just so like he doesn't cause Genie too much distress. Give me a sec. Woof. And he goes, yeah, some people like Frank and Ollie Tunes, they have that ability to speak with cats, but I'm gonna be real with you, Genie's not actually a cat. It's kind of hard to explain, but he
Sammy
actually
blinks and nods. Because that's
yeah.
correct.
And he just goes, yeah. But what you gotta know is that Genie can speak common and quarry. It's a matter of like specific circumstances on whether or not you can understand him when he actually speaks common and quarry. To everybody else, though, he sounds like a cat.
Sammy kind of nods.
Okay. But that was the secret I needed to tell you, but that's not the only thing I needed to tell you.
Okay.
It's about the trial.
Yeah.
I know you probably like read in the papers that well, what I do is that I steal people's distorted hearts, and I get these corrupted people to confess their crimes, get some retribution for the people who can't really do anything.
Arata, is it... Is it
Sinclair's...
Is it like charming someone into confessing? Like, is it...
Sorry, I did not hear that. Can you say that again?
Is it like charming someone?
No charms. No charms. It's... When I say I steal a distorted heart, I'm actually being pretty literal. What we do... Well, this is going to be a bit difficult to explain, so just bear.
Avi,
Sup?
you still there?
Yeah?
Okay, you like broke up for a good chunk there.
Oh shit. What did you hear?
It was like, it's gonna be difficult for me to explain this, and then silence.
Oh shit. Alright. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to explain, so just bear with me.
Sammy nods.
And he sits up. He sits up a little straighter, and so does Genie. Genie was probably like laying down, but now he's like sitting up in that alert cat kind of position.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, excuse me. And he looks to you to make sure that you're listening, and he goes, "If you need me to stop and explain something, just let me know, okay?"
Okay.
Okay. Alright, how do I put this? Okay. Do you know about the Plane of Dreams?
Only that sometimes I get really weird adventures, and last time it was with you, March, and Hugh, and not as scary as the last time with
Alright.
the cannibal coconuts.
Yikes. I still... Yikes. He says that in character. In fact, he also says, sometimes dreams are like that.
They tried to eat
And
Donut, who is a color-changing toon, like me. They weren't donut-shaped. They were person-shaped.
you see everyone is just like, blink, blink. Okay. Sometimes dreams are just like that, I guess, but, yeah. The plane of dreams is where our, well, I say our, but I'm a Kalash star, so I don't really, dream. But that's where our subconscious goes when we sleep, and it's a fascinating place. From the material plane for better or for worse. But what if I told you that there is a layer of the plane of dreams that is not exactly a dream, but it's a version of reality, but interpreted by how people view reality.
So, kind of like how everybody hopes and dreams about reality?
Yeah, yeah. This layer, let's call it the paraverse. This layer of the dream plane, paraverse, it's not exactly a stable thing because it is built on how we as people perceive reality around us. How our cognitions, well, let me put it this way. Our cognitions take shape in the paraverse. And when these cognitions can get distorted, things can happen. Namely, people get so far away from, how reality actually is that they will interpret reality as, well, most of the time, as their own plaything. And it's led to a lot of crazy interpretations. And you see him like chuckle, and he says, one time I went into somebody's cognition and there was an entire bank flying over a district in Okashima.
That sounds really conceited.
Yep, he was a conceited guy. Real gluttonous guy. And okay, it might be better if I give you this example. There was this teacher at my old school who, let's just call him a bastard. He was as corrupted as a corrupted teacher can get, but you know, really, really bad. He saw the school not as a school, but as his own castle. And in the Paraverse, the school was a castle. Does that make sense?
So, how someone views a place also reflects in the same location.
Yes. Yes. See, you're catching on.
Huh.
And he actually does sound like genuinely proud of you. Like,
It's very obvious Sammy's like thinking really hard. There's like actually gears kind of turning above his head a bit, but like at Arata praising him for kind of being able to understand, he kind of the little thought bubble of the gears turning in his head kind of pops, and his shading goes pink.
and he's smiling at Sammy, and he goes, "See, normally you can't get to the Paraverse through, usual methods. You have to. Well, let me put it this way: there are two different versions of this land of cognition. There's how the people see it, and I mean people plural, so that um, multiple people's cognitions affect the Paraverse. Let's call that the collective unconscious.
Okay.
But back home, the collective unconscious in Okashima was this but
So,
there's also
sorry, you cut out as soon, like right as you were about to describe what the collective unconsciousness of Fukushima was.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I swear, my internet. Ugh! Bless you.
Thanks.
The back home, the collective unconscious takes the shape of um of an underground train system, and the reason why that is because, well, trains are the most common form of public transport in Okashima.
Huh.
The trains are always in the mind of the public, so, there you go.
That makes sense.
And Arata does. But, it goes, now there are cognitions in the Paraverse that are for individual people, and normally this does not happen unless a person is so distorted.
And wrapped up in their own heads that they can't really see anything outside of themselves.
He snaps his fingers. Yes, that's exactly it.
Sammy kind of makes a face because,
Yeah. You get to see some pretty crazy stuff in those cognitions. One time I was in a space station, and
how can there be a station in space? You can't
you
get
see
up
Arata.
there.
Arata shrugs, and he goes, "I don't know, man. Technology is already so weird. I met a Warforged once, and she looks like a human."
What?
Yeah. Arata's just nodding. It's like, technology is so goddamn crazy, man.
Sammy kind of has like to sit there and process that revelation for a moment before he just kind of blank. Okay.
And there's a moment where, like, okay, so this cognition that was a station in space, um, there was this glass out of it, and you could see the planet, our planet, and man,
Sammy's
it
like
was.
taking all that in, and his brain is low key kind of blown.
it. I know. Okay. You see him like try to clarify this. Technically, it wasn't real, but it was still crazy and kind of cool.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. See, those distorted cognitions, um, those are the distorted hearts I steal. Because these people are so, their hearts are so corrupted that they can't feel guilt, the guilt of what they're doing to other people and to the people around them and to themselves. Sometimes you see him pause like he just remembered something, and he brings his hands to his lap and he kind of like starts rubbing his legs. Sometimes corruption does not always mean evil. Um, I once changed the heart of somebody who, well, they directly asked the Spirit Rogues for a change of heart because they were in a pretty bad place and they couldn't get proper help for it. Like, like mental health kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Like, they were in so much pain they couldn't really see anything else.
He nods. That's that's why corruption does not always mean evil. It's not always black and white like that.
Like life.
Like life. And Sammy, the reason I'm bringing this up is because the trial is soon.
Yeah.
Sinclair, I don't trust Sinclair to not try anything.
He'd
And
do anything to stay free.
he would. He really does seem like that kind of person. The thing is, though, Simon Sinclair is eligible for a change of heart. And well, he takes a deep breath and he says, I am going to change Sinclair's heart. Because if he confesses during the trial, that's a surefire way of him staying in jail.
And if he confesses, he'll actually tell.
He'll actually spill the beans.
Yeah, he'll. I'd actually know why.
Yeah. The thing is, Sammy, Sinclair is different from the other targets that I've mostly taken on, well, here in Einquell and, you know, here in Toontown specifically. Those have mostly been smaller distortions. They haven't gotten to the point where they were separated from the rest of the collective unconscious. But Sinclair is. He is. He is so far gone that he already has a palace, and if he has a palace, that makes it dangerous. And I know it's just been me and Jeannie so far, and I know that I just told you about this, and you're probably still reeling, so it might not be
What do you
the
need me to
best.
do?
You see Arata pause, like, ah. Sometimes I forget who I'm talking to. Sammy, will you...
Will I... Oh no, Avi, are you still there?
Oh shit! God damn it! Internet, I shake you!
You basically said, will you? And then I heard nothing.
God damn it. Sammy, will you help me change Sinclair's heart?
Of course.
You see Arata's shoulders kind of like sag with relief, and he grins. and he says, well, you know what that means, Jeannie? And he looks over to the cat. Oh, to the not cat. And Jeannie looks back at him, and Arata looks back to you. And he goes, that makes you an honorary spirit rogue. Which means you need a code name and a disguise.
How did you figure out Trickster?
He points to Jeannie. Jeannie was the one who gave me that code name, so it stuck.
It suits you.
the this. All right. Well, let's see. We could play off the colors, maybe.
Well, I am pretty reflective. So
You're pretty what?
Reflective. He kind of wiggles his arm, and the shadow on his arm kind of moves with it in color. Maybe not rainbow, because that's a little too on the nose. Prism? Prisms are colorful?
Yes, they are. Refracting light to spectrum. That suits you.
Thanks. Now, disguises. How should we exactly go about that? Because I don't really... What's the dress code? Besides a mask?
The goal is to make you, hopefully, as unrecognizable as possible, while still being, practical.
Okay.
If the ruler of a palace is able to recognize you, Who knows what that might do to the person in reality.
Sammy kind of grimaces.
Mm-hmm. I will say, meeting somebody's shadow self in the Paraverse, their self in reality won't have any memory of what happens in the cognitive world. But even so, it is still their cognition. That's why spirit rogues use code names, so we don't yell our actual names while in the middle of an operation, and that's why we use disguises.
Considering just how obsessed Sinclair was with me, I wouldn't want his cognitive version to recognize me either. I don't think that would be a very good idea.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to figure out what to do with that.
That means we get to go clothes shopping.
That laugh is in character, and he is very excited for that.
In fact, I think there's a 24-hour mall a few blocks away from here. And he kind of gestures to refer to the abandoned area of Toontown that Sammy lives in.
Yeah. And he's like, well, what are we waiting for?
Let's go.
Yeah, we pick up some supplies if we can.
Yeah. Considering how dangerous it sounds, we might need some potions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with that, we could probably zoom out and end there.
Yeah.
With the boys going on a very late night shopping trip. With Jeannie in tow.
Oh man. There ain't no rest for the spirit rogues. I'll tell you that.
Nope. I'm pretty sure they probably shop and then drop back at the House of Paint and sleep for a good chunk of
They're gonna need
rest
the rest
of the night.
Yeah. They're gonna need the rest.
Like, I will say that they do have enough time to get like an 8-hour amount of sleep.
Long rest.
Yeah, like a nice long rest, so they don't get a point of exhaustion because they're idiotic teens who forget that they need sleep.
Alright.
Thank you everybody for tuning in and listening to this in the future. Avi, thank you for playing this setup FPS with me. It was fantastic.
Oh, and thank you for agreeing to let me do this, because this has been something that I've wanted to do in Draft House for a while. I just haven't had I couldn't figure out a way to do it until
until plot lines actually fell into place.
Yeah.
With that, I'm gonna say goodbye. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.